Hello everyone, it's Lorica here. Doing a book haul today because I haven't done one in a very long time. And because it was December and Christmas and there were sales and I went to lots of secondhand shops, I actually got quite a lot of new books which I want to share. And I also got some gifts. So I'm going to just share some of them, not all of them, because there's a lot. So I think I'm going to start with the fiction and then I'm going to move to the non-fiction. So the first book I want to talk about is a book I actually just read it already. I finished it. I got it for Christmas from my two friends that live in London. And it is a proof copy of a book that's coming out on the 15th of January this year. The hardcover is already out, but this is the soft cover or the pocket book. And it's called Cape Fever by Nadia Davids. There we go. This book takes place the early 1900s, something like 1920s, in Cape Town, South Africa, and it is. I'm not going to talk much about. I'm not going to really talk much about this book because I just finished it. It was very emotional read for me, and I'm going to do a review on it. But it is an absolutely amazing book and really touched me. So yeah, watch out for that video. It's probably going to come up next because it was super intense. The next book I also got from my sister friends in London. And this is a book by Joanne Harris, which I read many years ago. It's called, maybe everybody knows this, Chocolate. They gave me a signed copy. Look. Oh, to Lorica, bon appetit, and then Joanne Harris. I missed seeing Joanne Harris by like a week. I was in London and the next week she was at this bookshop where my friend works. And so I was very, I couldn't believe I missed her by a week. But my friends got me a signed copy of Chocolate because I just love Joanne Harris. And then I also got a book which I'm going to buddy read this year, and I've managed to get hold of a copy by Italo Calvino, and it's called Marco Valdo. It's a, short stories, and it's broken down into summer, fall, winter and spring. And I'm going to read it with Daniela, sorry. I'm going to read it with Daniela. I will link her below. And I'm really looking forward to reading this book with her. And then I got a book at a secondhand bookshop in Lund. And this is also a South African book. I've never heard of this author, Karen Breinart, and it's called Weeping Waters, and it was shortlisted for the Crime Writers Association International Dagger in 2019. I hold it so you can see it. It says here, this arresting English language debut validates Karen Breinart's reputation as the Afrikaans Stieg Larsson, an outstanding thriller. When I saw this, the Afrikaans Stieg Larsson, I thought, oh, this is interesting because I'm living in Sweden now and he's from Sweden and I'm Afrikaans. So a little bit of a connection. So I'm looking forward to reading this book. And one of my other favorite authors, Dion Meyer, he says it's brooding, riveting, brilliant. So I have high hopes. So that. And then I have a friend who has this amazing place called Hexenshus out here in Skåne, and she has like a little shop there in the countryside, and I will link it below as well. If anybody in Sweden wants to go and visit. And there's books, there's cards, there's all magical things. It's a beautiful place. So I bought 2 books there when I was there. The one is from Deborah Harkness, and it's called The Blackbird Oracle. And I literally bought it because of the cover, because this is beautiful. I mean, it's a crow on the cover. It says blackbird, but crow is a blackbird. So it's part of the Discovery of Witches of her series, and I have Discovery of Witches, so I will read this when I feel ready. I just love the cover because this is my favorite color. It's like an indigo blue, and my favorite bird, so I had to have the book, right? I mean, I just could not buy it. And then the other one I actually bought because I thought it was a fiction book, but it turned out to be non-fiction. So I started it, and I will read it bit by bit over time. It's called The Oracle, Ancient Delphi and the Science Behind Its Lost Secrets by William J. Broad. And it is a book about... It says here, a gripping modern-day detective story about a scientific quest for the answer to a riddle of ancient Greece. So when I saw that, I thought, oh, fiction. Oh, it smells so nice. It still smells of her shop, my friend's shop. So she has incense in there. So the book smells of incense. I love it. Okay, so those are the fiction books I got. And this one's not fiction. We've moved into the non-fictions. So the next one was also a gift from a friend of mine in Australia, and I just talked about it in my previous video when I talked about Jane Austen and Mysteries of Anne Radcliffe with Mysteries of Udolpho, and it's this book. So no need to talk more about it. It's Jane Austen's Bookshelf, The Women Writers Who Shaped a Legend, and it's written by Rebecca Romney, and I'm loving this book so much. Another non-fiction is a book by Georgia O'Keeffe, or it's Georgia O'Keeffe's biography by Roxana Robinson. And I got this at a second-hand, also in Sweden, second-hand bookshop. Or a second-hand shop that has some books in it. And there's not many English books. So when I see an English book in these second-hand shops, I just grab it. So I love Georgia O'Keeffe's art, so I thought I'm going to get that book. And another one that's about... I'll take this one. It's also from a South African writer. She's actually a poet. Her name is Antjie Krog, and she's an Afrikaans author. And this is called A Change of Tongue. Oh my God, I'm so looking forward to reading this book because I absolutely love Antjie Krog. And it's a book that talks about identity, belonging, and voyages of personal discovery. She really writes, it feels to me like this book is about, like after apartheid ended and how all these different cultures and peoples, how we, need to find our new spaces in a new country, right? So, I'm very, very interested in reading this book. I literally just got it yesterday because I went on to World of Books and I bought a whole bunch of books from them. So I will go through the rest of them in a bit. Another book I got from the secondhand store in Sweden, one of them in Lund, down further south, is called The Oxford Companion to English Literature, new edition, edited by Margaret Drabble. It's not a book that you read, it's a dictionary, right? So it feels like a dictionary. It's like, when, I don't know who's watching these videos, but when I was young, we had these encyclopedias that my parents bought. We had 2 sets. One was called kennis, that means knowledge in Afrikaans, and it had like pictures in it with lots of writing about things. So whenever you wanted to know something, you would go there and then you would look it up. The other one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was also a set, big set, and had a blue cover. It was also in Afrikaans. It reminds me a little bit of the Encyclopedia Britannica that the English was in English, but it was like an Afrikaans version of that. And this one reminds me of that because it has all these references, like little bits of writing and references, and the camera gets a little bit crazy when hello. Anyway, it has these references, and it's all about literature. So you will have things like Gilbert and Sullivan operas, the Edinburgh Review, Cromwell. So it's just an interesting reference book to have, I think. And then I bought this book online from one of the Swedish online stores called Adlibris. And I'm so excited about this book because I like to make things with paper. And so this is called The Art of the Fold by Heidi Kyle and Ulla Warkol. I will just keep my face in the picture, otherwise it gets complicated. And it's how to make innovative books and paper structures. So you can see all these type of books that you can make, and folding, and it's really detailed descriptions. So I'm really, I waited forever to get this book. It took so long to come, I don't know. So then I went to another book that I got from the secondhand shop in Lund. It's called Miller's Stranger's Guide for the City of New York with Map 1866. Oh, this little book. And I got it for 25 crowns, which is probably like £2.50, maybe even less than that. Maybe, yeah. So, and it's this perfect little book, like has pictures in it. And I mean, look at that. It tells you where to go, where's the post office in New York. It has advertising at the back. It has maps in it, like proper pull-out. I don't want to tear it now, but like a pull-out map. Oh, you can't see it. Wait, let me show you another one. Like this one. This one you can take out. You can see it's like a proper map. Let's show you. New York. And it's like a real map. So I think it's a very special book. It feels to me like a super, super special little book. And it's so small. So clearly, when you went to New York in the old days, this was the book to have. It showed where to stay. It's almost like a Lonely Planet guide for today. Yeah. And then I bought 2 almanacs, 2 Swedish almanacs, one from 1899 and one from 1900. Because I love these almanacs. They're these cute little, look how tiny it is. And this one even had like a little piece of string that was, you can imagine somebody was hanging that up somewhere in their house, and then they could just open it up and check things out. And the text, I mean, look how they wrote, and it's just so pretty. It's just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. They've got ads in it and what happened on what day, and it's just perfect. So yeah, that was just for fun. And then yesterday I also got a whole bunch of books because I'm doing a bit of reading up on the Second Boer War, the Anglo-Boer War, when the British and the Boers, the Afrikaners, had the war in South Africa, 1899, for a few years. And because I grew up Afrikaner, I have a specific perspective on that war. And way I was taught when I was young was from the Afrikaner point of view. So it's a very one-sided, right? So I'm curious more and more to also hear the other side. In my heart, I will probably always feel the Afrikaner side because that's how we are as humans, right? But I am also curious to understand what the other side was, and not just from my perspective, but from their perspective. So I got this book, which I've been looking for a long time, and I finally found it on World of Books. And it's called The Boer War by Thomas Parkenham. And it's a big book. It's not a book I think I'll sit and read in one sitting because it's very small text. But it's all about the war. It's probably like one of the books I have seen around the most that covers the Boer War. And then the other book is that I got is called The Boer War in Postcards, which is really quite by Ian MacDonald. And it is during that time, let me find a page, postcards that were sent during that time and printed, so that you can see, I love people's own words about stuff, like how they perceived it at that time, and not necessarily that kind of book, but more letters and what people write. It's like I prefer journals and diaries. So yeah, so I'm very curious to read that one. And then this one is called To the Bitter End, a photographic history of the Boer War 1899 to 1902 by Emmanuel Lee. There you can see it, the cover of it. And this has got a lot of the photographs. So, it just gives a visual for me as a person to see what how the people looked and how they were dressed, and all the characters that were in the war. So yeah, I'm so glad I found this book. It really is. It gives me a good visual of things. And then another thing about the war is never heard the African people's view on the war. When I was growing up, I only heard the Afrikaner point of view, right? But there were a lot of indigenous people from Africa, of course, that were also part of this war. And I saw that there was this diary that was written by Saul Plaatje. He was based at Mafeking, and it's called The Boer War Diary of Saul Plaatje. And so I'm really curious to read his perspective on the war and how he perceived it to be, and not just from one side or two sides. There's always more than many sides. And then the last book is called Those Bloody Women, 3 Heroines of the Boer War, Brian Roberts. Passionate, outspoken and committed. First is Emily Hobhouse stood up against her country for what she believed in. She was a British nurse. And with Johanna or Johanna van Warmelo, she revealed the truth about the British concentration camps. Lady Sarah Wilson was Winston Churchill's aunt, pioneering war correspondent and heroine of Mafeking. And it talks about these three women and the influences and effects that they had during the Boer War. The things that they experienced, what they wrote about. So yeah, very, very interesting. I'm curious about this one too. So I have a lot of reading, and then I still have a bookshelf full of books. So I have a lot to read, but I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, it's very varied books. But I'm really starting to move into the reading that I want to do of more South African writing and South African books. Because I enjoy all books and I enjoy reading about all cultures, but I also sometimes feel like I've missed something because growing up I only read Afrikaans, and for most of my time living in South Africa I only read Afrikaans books, and it's all great. There's nothing wrong with that, but it feels like I missed something by not being open to the English authors and to the Xhosa authors and the Zulu and the all the different cultures in South Africa. So I'm very curious to read more from that perspective. So I wish you, first of all, thanks for watching all these books. I hope you have a beautiful day further, and I will see you soon. Bye.